Guachuck and Sam rode the elevator down to the 9th floor. They exited and maneuvered their way through the station to the arm leading to the bank. Sam approached the door and put his hand on the sensor. It read his DNA and palm print. The door to the bank arm opened. He proceeded down the hall and Guachuck floated behind him. Miss Mishi tucked in Sam's sweater pocket. They approached the black crystalline door, box spider built. Sam pushed on the two heavy doors and they swung in easily. "Gotta love that new atmosphere smell." "Crisp," Sam said. "I will debate that," Guachuck said through his tube speaker. Sam walked through the main hall, eyeing the built-in desks, doors to newly built offices, and a large cube in the center. He spun the handle on the cube and then opened the vault door. The vault walls were lined with lockboxes. In the center of the vault was a stairwell leading to the larger lower vault. "I like this. It's like out of a movie." Sam stepped back out and spun the vault lock wheel. "Orbit got this spot on." "A movie?" "Yeah, video depictions we make. Usually just for fun." Guachuck floated from the vault and went over to the desks. "The director position, what all does it entail?" Sam walked over beside him. "If you are selected for the position, you would be in charge of the daily operations of this bank. Your primary goal is finding and keeping honest employees dedicated to making money. And how does this bank actually function?" Sam pointed up at massive pyramid hanging from the ceiling far overhead. "When Orbit activates that computer node up there, the Twain Station exchange will become fully functional. We will be able to give out loans easily through the merchant program. It will coordinate prices for things far faster. It will increase the clam coins available, and it will allow for investing in corporate entities. If I agree to take said position, I would need much of that elaborated on. I like my endeavors to succeed. Honestly, I don't know jack about it. I've just got an account back home that accepts my paychecks. Orbit does have a full suite of economic courses in his database that I would allow you to use, if you're chosen." Sam stepped closer and looked at the webby creature inside staring back at him with its multitude of eyes. "Why are you interested in this job? Aren't you pissed about me taking that nuke still?" "No. I found it odd you didn't renegotiate our standings earlier. Most other species would have forced a better trade weeks before you did." Guachuck adjusted himself in his tube. "I do not know if that is a good thing, but the reason for my interest in this endeavor is exactly that. You are a peculiarity, Sam. This oddity has sparked numerous profitable endeavors, and has potential to spark far more. Just today I heard you resurrected a species known to be a nuisance, and figured out how to turn that nuisance into a boon. I think this job could be my boon. Your friends have been pestering me for a hotel. Yes, they are quite good hosts. It would be quite profitable here, but they tell me that you are being stubborn about it. We are running near max core output. That's why this bank is so important. Orbit showed me a core schematic we traded for, and it is doable, but the materials needed are expensive." "And this bank in exchange will fund it?" "Yes, I hope it works." "I accept the job then." Sam smiled. "Good. I'll confer with Orbit when I wake up tomorrow and get you set up over here." Guachuck's noises inside were interpreted as joyous laughter. Sam patted his tube. "Guess we are going to open a bank." Sam awoke the next day in a sweat caused by a vivid dream of lights, stars, explosions, and the thing several weeks back that gave him a headache when it talked. Miss Michi stretched at the foot of his bed. He got up and showered and shaved. Once refreshed and clean, he sat and had himself his morning toast and coffee. "Orbit?" "Yes, sir?" the purple boy asked. "Tasks for the day?" A holographic display came up over the table, highlighting several things. "Firstly, sir, you are scheduled to have an interview with a potential custodian. Her name is Baoa. She is a grazer here on an apprenticeship with the SFP. She has already proven a knack using the still bake the bread you are eating, and Bessie has grown accustomed to her milking her. I do believe she would be a valuable asset to keep around on the station." "Sounds like she already has it." "Yes, but you need to meet her and approve, sir. This is a human station." "Yes, a singular human station." Sam took a sip of his coffee. "And after that, what is this line here? Thin Walk needs something?" Yes, I gave him and his fellow Stickians operational security protocol training. They enjoyed the physical portions of the training, but he brought up some issues with the civility portion. What kind of issues? Well, best put bluntly, they feel that Stickians are more deserving of respect than other species, sir. How so? They like the potential to hurt others. I developed the training out of a fear someone is going to get hurt. There was an altercation in the open shell. A guard kicked a guest out of the way and then insulted them. The guest was not severely injured, but the feeling of superiority is there amongst your guards. Okay, species civility training is going to be mandatory, followed, or they will be fired. I need less problems, not more. Especially an entire species coming here mad because of someone acting the fool. I agree, sir. The SFP have several shipments of sand coming in, it looks like. Are they still reinforcing structures? Yes, sir. They have created a lattice over half of the main station. It took time for their crawlers to be at ease working near the box spiders. They have overcome their hesitations and now will build right alongside them. They do decent work? Any issues with structural integrity? Great work, sir. Their overlay is quite resilient. All right. I'm going to go hunt Miss Mishi some food first before I meet with Boa. She's adorable. She's a godsend. I didn't realize how touch-deprived I was until I held her. Sam got up and took his dishes to the kitchen and set them in the sink. Could you ask SFP for a box of sand for litter? Sent a message for you just now. Thank you, Orbit. Sam got dressed in his suit, holstering his fragger, and set out down the halls. He arrived at the Infinigan shop about 15 minutes later. Spitzlittle was there, disassembling a series of large cubes Sam did not recognize. Sorry to interrupt. Spitzlittle jumped. Oh, hello, Sam. Hey, how are you today? I am recovered. I'm very sorry about what happened. I didn't even think that would have been an issue. It's okay. I am recovered. She adjusted her breather and leaned away, motioned her stool a bit farther from him. I was curious if you got the rifle modifications done. Yes. It is there by the counter. That will be 50C. Sam manipulated his arm display and paid her via the merchant app. Thank you, he said as he grabbed the gun. He smiled and waved to leave. She bobbed her head and looked back to her work. It didn't take long for Sam to find a nest of the rabbit rats. They had made a home in a vent off the main hall by the restaurants. He knelt down and shined his headlamp into the vent. Numerous sets of 5 beady eyes peered back. He laid down prostrate, aimed, and fired. A flash, and bits of gore erupted from the nest covering his face shield. Nasty! Ew! Sam sat up and brushed failingly, leaving red and purple streaks across his field of vision. He looked down at the bits of limbs and chunks. He scooped them up into a pile and put them on the nearby floating tray. Back at his quarters, he washed and cleaned the bits. Once cleaned, he put them in a little dish and set it down for the eager Miss Mishi. She began gobbling them down straight away. Sam changed and went to his office. Upon arrival, he saw a small, thinner-than-usual grazer. Are you Bawa? I am, she replied. He reached out to shake her hand. She accepted and shook weakly. I have heard good things about your work. Bessie seems to like you. I am quite fond of your cow. She is an interesting animal and smells nice. Sam laughed. I've never heard that about a cow before. Sam motioned her into his office. Come in, have a seat. They both sat, her straddling the bench, and he in his custom high-back chair on the other side of the desk. So, do you have experience cleaning space stations? It was my duty to keep up my family ship. What all things did that entail? She groaned and wheezed a bit, Orbit translating through his desk speaker for him. I shined the quarters and breezeways, trash composted, tended our greens. Dad did most of the fixing. Brothers did the cooking and outside walks. I took care of making things nice. Sounds like you are a good fit. The job comes with monthly wages, bonuses yearly based on performance, and room and board. That amenable to you? Yes, sir. That is exactly what I wished for. I wish to continue to learn more about growing crops, especially tomatoes. I really like making sauces. I heard you have been processing my foods for me. I thank you much for that. I've just been picking them up out of cold storage. Yes, sir. I have gone through many of Orbit's training videos. I am quite fond of the tomatoes. Do you plan to grow more farms of those? Eventually, yes, I guess. It will be some time, though. What about my family? How big a room are you offering? How many family members you have wanting to stay? 17 of my brothers and sisters are wishing to stay here. I'm worried you will not have enough room. I have a series of storage rooms that are... He paused and took a breath. Quite filthy, I guess is the best way to say it. They need trash processed, moss killed back, and cleaned thoroughly. That whole section I can allot to you and your family. It should be enough. Oh, that would be wonderful. Would you be interested in hiring any more custodians? Have them apply through Orbit, and I will set up interviews with them as I have you. Sam stood up and offered his hand again. I am glad to have you aboard, Bao. You are a valuable addition to the station. She rose up and took his hand, shaking it vigorously. Thank you. I'm very happy to be here. This is a great opportunity. I'm so excited. Sam led her to the door and she kicked her back feet up as she hopped through the reception. That felt good. I like her too, Orbit said. Sam went back to his desk and sat. Oh, now to deal with curing sticky and racism. I do not envy this next one, sir. Sam got up and walked over to the shelves across the room. He readied the coffee maker and started making another pot. The bank had opened. The pyramid computer core of the exchange was online and running. Guachuck had hired on 3 other Webbers as loan officers and 5 obelisks as tellers running the front desks. The large conference room in the back of the bank was hosting a meeting. Bao had brought in some station-made coffee, toast, jam, and 5 bottles of whiskey. Around the table sat Curator Captain Killall, a cluster of SFP, 3 other Craddock, Firebottom, Bao, 3 of her siblings, Guachuck and Sam, at the head of the table with a hologram of Orbit. Sam stood up. Thank you all for meeting here with me. This here, us, marks the beginning of something incredible. Orbit pulled up a hologram containing 18 sectors with 7 planets highlighted across 4 systems. Curator, you are the one who came up with this. Would you like to take over? Gladly. She got up and went over to the hologram. We have discovered that the Craddock respond very positively to our whiskey. The pain relief was apparent, but another amazing side effect was noticed after a week of heavy drinking. Curator pointed at another hologram that arose. It was an image of a Craddock progressing. As you see, over 1 week of high alcohol blood levels reduced the size of the egg tumors by 85%, she smiled. They are wanting no, demanding more. Captain Killall raised a glass. Yes, our people need more of this. The other Craddock touched glasses and drank. Curator pulled the system map to the forefront. Bao, you have proven yourself and your family to be amazing distillers. We need to increase our production thousands of folds. This station, as you all know, is still in its infancy. We need planet-side production. Curator zoomed in on Craddock Prime. The Craddock homeworld is underdeveloped. Large predators are quite common, and the land is largely devoid of agriculture. Killall and I have done an extensive survey, seeing what they have to offer as trade. They have 2 vital trade goods. Curator walked over to the Craddock. Their people are skilled warriors, honed by eons of combat. With proper motivation, they are willing to shift from piracy to protection. Secondly, they have a fertile world, quite capable of growing vast quantities of crops. Curator stepped around the table to the grazers. Protected fields and trade routes in exchange for whiskey. Curator walked around the table to Guachuck. My brother, along with Guachuck, will fund the endeavor. We are going public with Twain Shipping Company, Grazer Agro Products, and Twain Security Corps. We have several consortium guilds already eager to buy stocks. We will fund ships, purchase farm equipment, give loans to grazers from across these systems to start farms. As many Craddock as wish to be employed will be. We will develop active monitoring of trade routes with buoys and patrols with Twain Station as the active hub. We are already sourcing materials for the 2nd and 3rd power core needed to take this station to the next step in becoming the bastion of inter-system trade. The room erupted in hoots, hollers, whistles, and the Craddock pounding on the table. Sam stepped forward. Does anyone here object to this plan? One of the SFP stood, still touching its cohorts. We will farm. We will help. We do want amendment to the trade deal. Sam nodded. What is it? The starfish person walked over to the hologram. It zoomed in on an icy moon in the Grazer's second system. This moon is silicate. It has vast ice sheets. We would like it. Sam looked at Curator. Is that doable? Who owns it? Baal raised her arm. It is undeveloped. We have not bothered with it at all. I will talk to our presidents and negotiate for it as part of the trade deal with our people. Sam looked at the SFP. We will incorporate it into our plan. Funding will be allocated for it. The SFP sat back down. Then we agree. Sam slapped the table. Then it is agreed. We are going to do this. Sam left the meeting with Curator. They walked through the arm back to the main section of the station. I'm impressed. That was amazing, he said. It was easy to get the Craddock on board. It gives them hope. The first party was pretty amazing. I had to fight off 3 from trying to knock up Kill-All, but once the booze was flowing, everyone mellowed out. Sam chuckled. It's crazy that alcohol acts as a kind of contraception for them. It's just the opposite for humans. It is amazing all the interactions that are happening. I heard about the incident with the Infinigan female. Yeah, I got lucky on that one. Curator hummed a bit in thought. You think the air will send some to work here? She asked. I hope so. We are dancing on a knife edge here. Well, the place is looking better. The halls are cleaner than when I left. Bao and her family have been kicking ass. They actually love the mist moss. They have dedicated a spare storeroom to raising it. What about the methane accumulation? Crunch Crunch and his wife made a device to siphon it out the air and store it. They've been using it to power torches in their workshop. Curator flexed her metal arms behind her head. We're a catalyst, it seems. How so? All these species work so well together, but they never had anyone to pull them all together. How come the Confederate of the Great Arm or whatever didn't unite everyone? From what I've got from orbit in our data transfers, it seems the Great Arm isn't that great. It's more like a non-aggression pact. Trade is minimal. Theft, slavery, piracy, and all manners of shady things are done throughout their space. They tend to stay out of each other's territories and expect the same. It's an organization but lacks any cooperation, huh? Pretty much. Orbit spoke through the hall speaker. The Preserver has messaged requesting you in the zoo, sir. We're not far from there. Let him know we will be there in 10 minutes. Message sent, sir. Thank you, Orbit. Sam turned to Curator. Shall we go see what he's up to? Let's. They arrived at the zoo and walked past the multiple enclosures housing various plants and animals and to the lab in the back. The Preserver was there, operating a biological 3D printer. He paused the work and initiated a stasis field over it. Hello, Sam. Hey, Preserver. What did you need me for? The Preserver cantered over, bobbing. You enjoyed the cats so much, and I'm overcome in joy at being able to host a season, so I made you something even better. His device translated. Follow me. I think you will appreciate it. The Preserver led them to a door. He opened it and motioned them inside. Sam looked at him, took a breath, turned, and entered. He stopped still upon seeing what was inside. Another Sam stood up from sitting at a table in the room. Hi. Sam looked at the Preserver. What the fuck did you do? You have stated on numerous occasions your displeasure for being alone. I gather your species is highly social, the opposite of mine. When I think of my kind coming here, in one sense it fills me with a great dread thinking of being around them. I can only imagine you feel the opposite, a dread whenever your kind is not around. So I scanned you last time you visited, and imprinted your mind into this copy. Now you aren't alone. Sam turned to the clone. You have my thoughts? The clone nodded. Yup. Did you not tell him he can't do this? He can't scan us without use knowing? This is crazy. I told him. He offered to recycle me. The clone sighed. I kinda don't want to die, so I told him we could make it work. Sam had his hands up. I get that. I get that. Sam turned to the Preserver. You can't go doing this shit. There is a line here. You had me clone the Infinigan and said it was a good thing. The Preserver shrunk down into its torso slightly. I do not understand your anger. Body autonomy. This is my body, Sam stressed. You have violated me, scanned me without knowing, and copied my body. You can't do that without permission. Oh, well, I am sorry. I merely wanted to repay kindness. Just don't do anything else like this, all right? I understand. No more cloning. None of humans, at least. Probably nothing sapient. I am okay with the zoo. I think it is beneficial. Oh, good, thank you, the preserver said through his chest device. I was worried you would have me stop. I had several creatures planned to display for the season. It's okay, just no more sapients. Sam turned to the clone. Well, what are you and I gonna do? Since I've been sitting here, I've been thinking about that. You come up with anything good? Well, yeah, firstly, we can't both be Sam. Agreed. It would confuse all the other species, so I was thinking about taking on our nickname from Dad. Damn? Yeah, you know we always kinda liked it. There wouldn't be a social stigma here. True, very true, Sam laughed. Kinda jealous now. I did always like that. Made me, us, I guess now, feel badass. Yep. Also, with two of us now, you can stay here. I can go and try and find a ship that can get home. Sam nodded. Yes, we need to make contact at the least, with hope we might be able to be rescued. Sam smiled. Want to get a drink? I would appreciate that. Curator was smiling. Sam and Dam stayed up late laughing, drinking, and playing with a deck of cards Sam had crafted. Dam won 2 out of 3 rounds of spades. You need another drink, Sam said, and refilled his glass. Much more and I'll be stumbling out of here. Yeah, about that. Where you want to sleep? I was going to go crash over in the wheat field, then maybe have one of the spare rooms on Restaurant Row reconfigured into a bar. I figure with Craddock in and out of here, we need a good pub to keep him occupied and calm. Good idea. I thought you were wanting to travel. Oh, I will. And who better to travel with than retired space pirates? Might be fun. All right. I like this plan. We did always want to run a bar. Yep. Just social enough without getting too close to anyone. Exactly. The two raised their whiskey glasses and clinked. Meanwhile, the preserver went into the Infinigan habitat, masked so as to have breathable air. Crunch Crunch and his wife Pouchcheek leapt down and landed beside him. 4 others landed behind them. What are you doing here, preserver? Crunch Crunch asked, Edge in his translator. He raised up his 3 hands. I know, you are still upset with my kind, but I need a favor. Why would we help you? Your people exterminated ours. I am not asking help on my behalf, but rather on hers. He motioned back at the airlock. A small figure walked forward, bipedal, red hair on her head, and bifocal eyes. Sam is displeased with me cloning him. He mandated that no more human clones be made. I cannot recycle her. Crunch Crunch walked over to the small human female. She was clothed in a gray undersuit in line with one Sam wore jogging often. She had a modified breather the preserver had rigged up. Sam resurrected your people. He gave you a home. He gave you a purpose here. I ask of you, please do the same for her. Pouchcheek walked over and took the girl's hands in 2 of hers. We will take care of you. We will make you a life space safe here with us. Crunch Crunch walked closer to the preserver. What is she exactly? I found hair in the Bethany. It belongs to an unknown human female. I do not have a mind slate for her, so I gave her basic language knowledge of species aboard the Twain. Beyond that, she is a blank slate. I did accelerate her growth. I wanted to give Sam a suitable companion. We will raise her then, Crunch Crunch said. Sam will find out eventually. It is hard to stay out of the eyes of orbit. I know. That is another reason I knew you could take care of her. Pouchcheek led the girl into the depths of the crystalline habitat. Crunch Crunch crossed his arms. She will be safe here. You can leave assured. The preserver turned, head sunk slightly into his chest, and left back out the airlock.